Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Shed of Dread. And before we get into the next article, don't forget, like, share and subscribe. Be much appreciated if you did. And for those of you who have, thank you so much. Right then. Interesting one. Allo Allo led to Brexit, and I'll explain this only once. Historian claims classic sitcoms including Fawlty Towers and Dad's Army could be explain the political attitudes behind Britain leaving the EU. What a crock of shite. Any case, let's go for it. Professor Gavin Schaefer's claimed that sitcoms help make sense of political attitudes. Right, Dad's Army was about defending the coast of Britain from Germans invading in World War II. Struggling. In any case, here we go. There are classic comedies famed for poking fun at both the British and our European neighbours. Okay. The academic, writing a new book, so he needs to sell it, is claiming sitcoms such as Allo Allo, Dad's Army and Fawlty Towers provide a way to make sense of political attitudes that prompted Brexit. Oh shit, he's from my end of the woods. University of Birmingham historian, sorry, twat. Professor Gavin Schaefer was contributed a chapter to the book British Humour and the Second World War. Keep smiling through. Right. In it, he suggests British people's ambivalence towards Europe and their wish to be different from the continent is portrayed in the shows. No, Dad's Army was, as I said earlier, defending the shores of Britain from a Nazi invasion. That's not having anything to do with the Europeans. That's to stop somebody from invading our country. What a load of shit. This guy's a twat. He argues Allo Allo in particular reflected some thinking that lay behind the decision of British people to Brexit. Yeah, a fictitious programme about the French resistance helping World War II downed pilots getting back to Britain. Yeah, that really sort of installed, oh yes, we must vote for Brexit. Idiot. Allo Allo, written mostly by David Croft and Jeremy Lloyd, ran as a pilot on the BBC in 1982 and aired for 9 series between 1984 and 1992. Brilliant show. I loved it. It starred Gordon Kay as René Artois, a French cafe owner who reluctantly became involved with the Resistance. And one of the characters was an undercover Englishman who failed attempts at the French accent were part of the show's running gags, which of course would not be allowed nowadays. Professor Schaefer said many Britons took Allo Allo to their hearts as it presented a light-hearted reflection of European differences and ultimately spoke to core differences between Britain and the European neighbours. Bollocks. Absolute shite. The show also tells us something about how British attitudes to Europe were changing and not changing in the late 80s and early 90s as Britain edged closer to her European neighbours. Despite close bonds, British voices of Euroscepticism never strayed too far from the suspicions rooted in World War II. Dear Lord, this is a big reach, isn't it? Mind you, I suppose you've got to sell your book. He argues in the book, while Allo Allo can be seen as an attempt to bury German phobia of the Second World War and work through the European trauma it caused, it also highlights how different people in Britain felt from other Europeans. No, it didn't. Professor Schaefer also points out that Fawlty Towers' most well-known scene treats the relationship between Brits and Europe as the elephant in the room. No, it's between Brits and Germans. That was it. You can't. How you can reach this far, I don't know. The academic added, the argument that there was something specifically British about being able to laugh at yourself was the key to much of the public affection of Allo Allo. Yeah, it's because it was funny, unlike new shit nowadays that isn't, because it can't be. Because it might upset some poor sod. Any case, let's carry on. He added, this helps explain British-German relationships in this period, illustrating the extent to which British people consider their outlook and their principles different and exceptional, just like every other country sees themselves as different and exceptional. Jesus Christ, how did this guy get a job? Continuing affection for this kind of humour points to something of a British blind spot about the legacy of the war, what? And the barriers between Britain and the rest of Europe. I'm still struggling. What lurks in the shadows is a nation deeply at ills with its European neighbours and itself. Listen very carefully to Allo Allo reveals the story of a nation It remains unready for further European integration. Absolute and utter codswallop. All three of those programs, it was the British against the Germans, World War II stuff, not the rest and the whole of Europe. I mean, let's be honest, if it wasn't for us standing up to the Germans and fighting back, most of these European countries would still be under German rule, would it not? What a load of rubbish. Sometimes, people just sit there and go, well, I'll just write crap. Forget it. Unbelievable. No. What a load of rubbish. And also remember that Brexit was not that. And in any case, we did vote for Brexit and, leave one. We haven't left yet because none of the politicians who, no one in the three pillars, remember that, government, corporations, media, none of them wanted us to leave Europe, and they're still making sure that we really technically haven't. But that's a reach, an absolute reach. Any case, I'm done. Social media up above. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share. You could subscribe if you want to. Make sure that if you do, you hit that button and select it to all, and YouTube should give you some notifications, or just remove it 6 months down the line. It's the way it is. And with that, I'm done. And all you need to do, and you should know what you need to do by now, is get out of the shed now.